What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Draft Network's live mock draft series. I'm Trevor Sikkema. Very, very excited about what we are doing tonight because I have a fantastic guest. It is one of my good friends in the business, Mr. Connor Rogers, the one and only. Connor, thank you so much for joining me, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, dude. I'm laughing. I'm seeing already some Watson chatter in the chat coming up. So it's going to be a lot of Watson talk going forward, man. I'm excited to do this with you. I appreciate you having me on.
I already realized that this was, like before I even asked you, I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'm going to be able to get Connor on. We could talk about the New York Jets, talk a little Deshaun Watson. And then when I tweeted out that you were the guest, you posted that Goldberg gif that I've never seen before. And I'm like,
I made it.
I'm like, this invite is worth it for just that. So if y'all haven't seen that, go over to Connor's Twitter and you can see that. But dude, I appreciate you hopping on with me. But like you just said right there, we've got to start before we get into this mock draft talking about what everybody's talking about with the New York Jets, because it's basically what everybody's talking about around the entire NFL. And that is what's going on with Deshaun Watson. I know that some people say the Jets are super in it. Other people say, all right, the Jets maybe aren't too much in it. What I want to hear from you is scale of 1 to 10. How much do you would you as a Jets follower, a Jets advocate, want Deshaun Watson? And then also scale of 1 to 10, how likely do you think it happens?
Well, I think it's a 10 that you want him. Right?
Okay.
I mean,
all right. If you said anything less than a 10, we were about to start to have a conversation.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, let's get that one out of the way. I think it's a 10, right? When you look at it for him, I mean, obviously a top 5 quarterback. He's 25 years old. Special player, special person.
Yeah.
I was talking about this on the Lefko show today with Adam Lefko, that how many guys can really go toe-to-toe the next 10 to 12 years with Patrick Mahomes, right? It's going to be a problem in football now. And don't get me wrong, some guys will develop. Like, we're excited about Joe Burrow when he gets healthy. We're excited about Trevor Lawrence entering the league and a couple of other guys this year. But this is a rare opportunity, a guy that you know it, right? You look at him and you go, if you put him in the right team, not a terrible franchise, he can go toe-to-toe with Pat Mahomes when that postseason, appearance comes around again. So I think when you look at it, it's a 10. You want him. Now, likely that the Jets get him. This is a hedge, and I hate it. I'm going to say a 5 because there's a lot of details we don't know right now, right? We don't know who he'll waive his no-trade clause for.
Right.
We don't know who will get involved, and those go hand in hand, because if it comes down to it, if one team is involved, I think he'll waive the clause for whatever it is because he wants out of Houston that badly, right? But I also think you look at Miami, if they're a team, now I'm a little skeptical how heavily involved they'll get, but you look at Miami and you sit there and go, Brian Flores that's a big pull, right? That's a really big pull.
Sure.
I mean, they had a really good season and they're a young up and coming team. Like, the taxes are much different there. You can take a lot more money home on that contract.
True.
There's logical reasons why he might favor Miami over other destinations. So there's, this, Trevor, more than anyone. There's just so many variables in this entire thing that I'm going to put the Jets at a 5 right now because we haven't been able to answer a lot of questions. But that's better than a lot of teams in the NFL because the Jets aren't at a 1 or a 2 because of the draft capital that they have right now.
No doubt. I mean, this is such a fun conversation, and I think there's a lot of people talking about it right now because there is no streamlined answer. Like, even if there were 1 or 2 teams in the NFL that you go, okay, he's going to one of these 2 teams, we probably wouldn't be talking as much about it. But it's the fact that there is so much that has to happen behind the scenes here, not just with teams that are interested and the giant pool that is for this kind of unprecedented, like you said, quarterback to hit the market, but Deshaun could also get super savage with this. Like, Deshaun could go to the Houston Texans and say, okay, here is a list of 6 or 7 teams that I would waive my no trade clause for. And the Texans could go out and they could do their negotiating and things like that. And he could come down with like 1 or 2 teams. And the Texans could say, okay, we have it between these 2 teams that we're deciding. And then all of a sudden he goes, no, I'm actually only going to waive it for one of those teams. I'm not going to waive it for the other one. Like, he could have that team on his waiver list initially, and then totally at the end of it, just be like, no. Actually, I really only want to go to, let's just say if it's like Miami or Carolina, and the Texans are deciding between them, and Deshaun makes the decision for them and goes, no, actually, I'm only going to Carolina. Then all of a sudden, they can't do anything about it.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. I mean, people can say what they want, but I've seen opinions all over the place. He has as much leverage in this situation, if not more, than Houston does, right? You actually have to fear, if you're Houston, that you get boxed into a corner where Deshaun's camp is leaking, hey, he'll go here, but not here. And then the team that finds out that he'll waive the no trade clause for them might go, why would we give up 5 first rounders when we're one of the exclusive teams? We'll start those talks at 3 first rounders, which is a bargain for Deshaun Watson, right? No matter where the picks are. So I mean, you nailed it. There's a lot of variables here. I think it's exciting, not for Texans fans, which I feel really bad for them. But I think it's exciting for a player like this to be on the market in the NFL. It's like an NBA level storyline. Really is what it is.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. There's a lot of exciting Deshaun Watson talk that's going to happen because you see even teams that you would have never even thought go into a quarterback conversation, but they do just because of, like you opened the podcast with, like, it's Deshaun. It's just never been anything like this before. And I wonder if the price ends up being, unfortunately for Houston, less than we believe because of all the leverage that Deshaun actually has. So, yeah.
I mean, if I'm sitting here today, I would sit here and tell you, and it depends where the picks are at some point.
Yes, it does.
You would think a guy like him is worth 5 first rounders. I think because of the leverage he has, they don't get 5 first rounders. No. They probably get somewhere with 3 and change, right? 3 first rounders, maybe a player that's a starter level player, and then a couple of mid rounders.
That's the way that I kind of approach it. It's like, we see, to your point, bringing up the NBA thing, and we're going to get to the mock draft in a second. I know people are probably wondering why we're not doing any kind of mock draft stuff, but
it's a podcast right now.
Basically. So, when you look at it, like you brought up the NBA, we see teams in the NBA trade off first round picks that are like 6 and 7 years down the road, right? That doesn't happen in the NFL. I feel like in the NFL, there's a much quicker point to which you just go, I understand that these words say first round pick, but they're just words on a screen. Like, they don't mean anything to me. And in the NBA, they're looking way further in the future because, of course, there's only 2 rounds to deal with anyway. So you have to go further into the future. But for the NFL, it's almost like anything beyond 3 years from now doesn't really retain a lot of value. So like you like 5 first round picks, like trading all your first round picks up until 2026. I feel like what the Texans might rather do if they have the chance is, hey, 3 first round picks and give us a young starter, like give us a young star, something like that. And I think that that's more value, or that's more plausible than giving up like 5 or 6 first round picks, which he would be worth.
Yeah. And it kind of makes you wonder, pretty crazy stuff here. If a Washington, and I'm just throwing something around here, if a Washington got involved, I don't think this would happen. But to get this trade over the hump, would they talk about Terry McLaurin or Chase Young?
Right.
I don't think that happens. But for people that are like, well, that's ridiculous, we're talking about Deshaun Watson.
It's different. Changes your whole franchise. I'm with you 100%. All right, so let's actually get into the mock draft. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be doing a 7-round mock. And we're not going to be picking for every team. We're not going to be here for the next 4 hours.
No.
Connor is selecting for the New York Jets because that is where his area, I say that's where your area of expertise is, but that's selling you short. You got area of expertise in a lot of things that happen with the NFL. But I figured, because a lot of you guys voted for this, and I left it up to you to which team that I would control, most of the votes ended up being the New York Giants. So we're going to make this a New York mock draft. We're going to get the bagels and cream cheese out, the dirty water dogs. We're going to take over. Yeah, we're taking over the city of New York. So Connor is going to run through a 7-round mock for the Jets, and simultaneously I will pick for the New York Giants. And so, Connor, that puts you up first because the Jets have number 2 overall. There's a little bit of a conversation here as well. And the trades will pop up. Feel free to trade back if you would like. Atlanta has offered you a trade here for number 4. You're also getting, a second, a third, and a fourth. What are they having you give up?
Atlanta could take a hike, man. I mean, come on, get out of here with that.
Okay. All right. So decline in that trade. So you can trade back if you want, but I was trying to intro it a little bit into saying, like, there's a conversation here. Because if you want a quarterback, if you want a quarterback, you're staying at number 2, right? You're picking the guy that you want to pick outside of Trevor Lawrence. But how much do you believe in Sam Darnold? How much do you think the team believes in Sam Darnold? And then I'll have you make a decision on what you want to do here at number 2.
Well, I think that trade offer was actually a very realistic scenario where Atlanta looks to jump, right? Because we don't know who's going to be picking at 3 when all is said and done.
Right,
What
right.
if it is Houston and they need to jump at Houston because they know Houston will take a quarterback at 3? And what if rumors leak out that the Jets want to roll with Sam Darnold? What I could say is I do think the new staff in place likes Sam Darnold, but I think it's bigger than them. I think Joe Douglas knows, at some point he probably wants to get his own guy if Darnold continues to struggle, which he really, really has. And I know there's a lot of external factors, the coaching staff with Gase, the
Not
roster,
great.
but he, in his own way, in his own right, he's played poorly. And I think the Jets, I think it's best for both sides to move on. I want to make that clear. Like, I think Sam can get a fresh start somewhere, whether it's Indy, New Orleans, San Francisco, wherever it's going. I think San Francisco will go with a more, ready to win option, but just throwing a team out there.
Sure.
So I'm going to move on. I'm just making that very clearly. I've made that clear. Yeah, okay. I'm going to move on. I think there is another scenario, another day where we could literally run this mock draft back and do we stick with Sam Darnold's mock, but this is we're moving on, type of phase. Now, for me, it's going to be Zach Wilson here at number 2. I love him. I really do. I think it's exciting that you have an argument here. I think you can make an argument for Justin Fields. I think that I really like Trey Lance. I want to put that out there too. Like, I don't think this is like a runaway, I think this quarterback class is phenomenal, which obviously a lot of people do, but I think for the Jets, you look at Zach Wilson, everybody was talking about his fit with Kyle Shanahan's offense. The Jets are running the same offense, bring over Mike LaFleur. I think, the way you can roll him out, get him working off play action, cut the field in half, the throwing on the run, the ball placement at all 3 levels, but especially vertically, the 20-plus kind of stuff is truly tremendous, honestly, just truly tremendous. So the Jets, there's a new era here, and it starts with Zach Wilson. And I think, something we won't do tonight, but that will factor in very heavily here for the, build around Sam crowd. You're probably going to get a 2nd-round pick back for Sam. So that's serious capital for the Jets to do a little more damage on here to build around Wilson in my scenario.
No, I completely agree with you. And man, Zach Wilson was fun to watch this year. There's so many points to say how he improved, but I think it all is just based on he played with so much confidence this year, and he played with a manner and with a confidence that like made it so easy to fall in love with the rest of his game that was very much improving. And so I think that's truly what took it to another level. It is the confidence that you saw him play with this year, and it's easy to like a guy who played like that. So
what would you have done there?
I would have stuck with quarterback. I just did a podcast with Ben Solak over at Lockdown NFL Draft where we did kind of like a fixing the Jets thing, and I brought it up. I was like, dude, if they trade back from number 2, they get an insane amount of capital. They would be set up for years in the draft, but Ben wasn't having any of it, and so. No, I agree with him, though. I'm probably going quarterback, and I do think it would come down to Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. I know that's what everybody's going back and forth about, but it would come down to one of those 2 guys, and I just feel like, even from a predictive standpoint, Joe Douglas worked his whole career to get to this point to have the chance to pick his franchise guy.
20 years in the NFL.
And I think that this is the moment, this isn't a number 1 overall pick, but how many GMs get number 1 overall picks? This is about as close as it gets outside of number 1. It literally, because it's number 2. And so I think that I'd be taking a quarterback there. New York Giants, because I'm picking for the Giants as Connor is picking for the Jets. All right, let's see. They're picking at 11. So we got a trade offer for Chicago. Who are they like moving up for a quarterback? Get a 1, a 3, a 5. No, absolutely not. I'm not doing that.
That is weak sauce.
I'm not doing that. The Jaguars want 25, a 2 for 1 and a 6. No, I'm not doing that either. No, I'm not doing that. I'm sticking at 11. Pittsburgh 1, a 2 and a 6. No, I want to pick at 11. I want to pick at 11 for New York. I think that they really need something here. They need juice, especially on the defensive line. If you think that Micah Parsons can do a lot of stuff when it comes to edge work as a pass rusher, which I do, as well as he could play some linebacker stuff. I think that he's going to be in the realm of guys that you would select here. Is Kwity Paye off the board? Yeah, Kwity Paye went 9. Who's left with edge rushers? Who we got at edge rushers? Surtain's off the board. Farley's off the board. Ooh,
Stuff.
okay. Rousseau is still there, but 11's early for Rousseau. What about wide receiver? Am I getting at all lucky with wide receiver?
No, you didn't.
Oh, Lord.
You didn't.
Man, you're making this tough on
This didn't break good for you.
No, it did not.
Is Kyle Pitts still there?
Is Kyle? Wow. Great call. No, I would have had him go to the board, and I probably would have seen Kyle Pitts there. I think that's the best option.
I know they have Pro Bowler Evan Ingram.
Oh, Lord.
I know they have Pro Bowler Evan Ingram.
Listen, no one wanted Evan Ingram to be good like me. I wanted Evan Ingram to be so good, and he's not as good as I wanted him to be. But I think that Kyle Pitts, he's much more than just a tight end. I was doing a mock draft again earlier this week, and I had Pitts going 6 to the Eagles, not even just because they might lose Zach Ertz, but because he fills so many different roles as an X kind of receiver for them. If you want him to be, he can obviously be involved in 12 personnel, multiple tight end packages. And so I'm going to go Kyle Pitts here. I'm going to go a little outside the box. I don't feel like we see this very often, but I'm going to go Pitts at 11. I think that's probably the best choice for him.
I think it's great. I think when you look at what their offense needs, I mean, they've made it pretty clear they're going to roll with Daniel Jones. And I think, that offense did a lot of quick hitting kind of stuff, a lot of rhythm stuff. And I think Pitts would be your guy in those one-on-ones. So it's a perfect fit. I actually think it would have been a tough conversation if it was between him and Devontae Smith there for the Giants.
Yeah, could be. I would have loved to give him Jalen Waddle because I think they need a guy who can separate with speed a little bit more. But look, I ain't going to complain about Kyle Pitts. I'm a Gator, for goodness sake. Get him as high as possible. All right, so you are up here again in the first round, second of 2 first-round picks. You got the Denver Broncos wanting to move back up into the first round, giving you a second, fourth, fifth, 2 fifths. That's a lot of day 3 action.
It feels like they're just throwing their junk.
I know. That's insulting. That's insulting.
I mean, it's just
George Payton. George Payton out here trying to wheel and deal you, not having it. Baltimore Ravens, they want to move up 4 spots, giving you an extra 4th-round pick.
I don't hate that in this class, and I actually think this is something Joe Douglas will end up doing on draft night with this selection. I actually would need to look at the board We got a cheat code to look at the board. You can. All right.
Because you could counter offer and then you can hide it so that it's still paused and then you can look at the board.
This thing's a beast. I love this thing.
So here, this is what we got on the board at 23. You can also obviously retrade back with Baltimore or trade back with anybody else. We got Travis Etienne, Owusu Koramoah. What are we thinking? What positions?
I think it's going to be Vera Tucker here. I think when you look at the Jets, now, obviously a lot will come into free agency because I think they're going to make a big play for Joe Thuney. I think they're going to throw a lot of money at him. Not a lot of teams with triple-digit cap space this year, and I think the Jets will be one of them. So they'll probably look to upgrade a guard with a guy like Thuney. But I mean, man, with Vera Tucker, the dude played great left tackle this year. He was phenomenal at guard the years leading up to that. I think he's got enough giddy up for the wide zone scheme they're going to run. I'm not saying he's this dude that can fly, but I think he's got enough giddy up to get out wide there. I think he's one of the safer players in this draft. I think Joe Douglas is going to like that. I actually think the Jets need an upgrade at 2 guards anyway, even if they did sign one. So it's going to be Vera Tucker here. And I'm actually really happy that he's sitting there at 23. I think he's a dude that could sneak into the top 20 when all is said and done. I
really like Vera Tucker as well as Rashawn Slater as guys who can give you that versatility to potentially play offensive guard, offensive tackle. I know some people think that of Alex Leatherwood as well. And so there's a lot of versatility with the guys who are kind of at the top of this offensive tackle class. All right, so you are now up at the top of the second round again. I was trying to read what was going on here. You're at 34. Chargers want to move up. 11 picks. This is decent. That's a decent amount. They want to give you a 4th-round pick to do it. What do you think?
It's not a bad 4th rounder, but this is one of the best picks in the draft because you have all of that. You get to reset for the day. Yeah. And then you go into day 2 and you only got one team ahead of you. Yeah, so I'm going to play the board here one more time. I'd rather get a little bit more creative later in the draft with trades. And that's something that Joe Douglas did last year. Okay. So we're going to play the board here.
Wow. What a savvy veteran move here from Connor. This is why we have him on, folks.
Yeah.
That draft day education.
Yes. And I see Ojulari sitting there, and I'm just licking my chops right now,
Oh,
man.
don't do it.
This is a team that
I was
needs.
hoping he'd last to 43. Don't do it to
Yeah,
me.
no, I mean, they got nothing on the edge. They need
Yeah.
somebody that can. I think he can play a little wide nine in Salah's defense.
Oh, for sure.
Put him next to Quentin Williams, man. I'm loving what I'm grabbing here. I'm getting Ojulari. I'm ecstatic with that pick.
That's a really great pick, and you can speak to this more than I can. But when we were looking over the Jets, I mean, they're transitioning from that 3-4 base to a 4-3. I assume under what Saleh has run with the 49ers, and with that, they're going to need not only better edge rushers, but different edge rushers. And I feel like Ojulari fills that need really, really well for the Jets.
It's a great point, right? It's not that you're just, they always need edge rushers. They literally never have them. They clearly don't make it a priority. In this defense, because they're going to play a lot of cover 3, if you don't have guys that can win off the edge, you're dead. Like you're just dead in the water. So it's going to be fun to see how they play it. And I've been trying to figure that out, what kind of edge. I do think Ojulari, because I know people are like, oh, he's a little small, but he plays a lot bigger than his size. Really good bend, really good burst. I think he's the perfect guy to play out on the edge, and I think he'd get those wide 9 reps. So, either him, I think Quincy Roche is another guy I like in that spot. I think he's had a really nice week down in Mobile, and I'm loving that.
I think really there excited. Are more. I think that's a really good, if you're picking him at the top of the second round, it makes a lot of sense because you get him to potentially play, like you said, more of a wide 9, further away from the tackles, taking a more direct angle to the quarterback, having some speed and some bend there. You can find like 5-tech defensive ends, to kind of like play the other side, if you will. But you don't often get guys that can burst the way that Ojulari does. And so
you really don't. And when you look at it, it's that first step, but it's also the ability, that build-up speed he has through, and the ability to plant that foot and turn the corner the way he does. There's not a lot of guys that could do that, right? I mean, it's crazy. And then the ability to counter inside is what matters, because once you start selling that outside move, and tackles know that, if you can't counter inside, you're a one-trick pony, and you just won't be able to win. So I'm really excited about him. No idea where he goes. I have him as a top 15 player, Ojulari, but it sounds like he can go outside. The projection on this, I think, is spot on. I don't think he goes in the top 20 picks at all, just because he's a little undersized.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. I mean, when you can win attacking the outside shoulder the way that he does, you set up yourself to have a really high ceiling if you can, like you said, master that inside move. So Carolina Panthers are up at number 40 right now. They want me to give up a 6th-round pick to move up 3 spots. I'm going to say no to this one. I'm going to keep my
a no from me, dog.
I'm going to keep my 6th-round pick because the Giants don't have a ton of picks. And so, okay, they're on the board here. Lord, I got a lot of offers for this one for 43. I didn't know 43 was going to be such a hot pick. Buccaneers give me a 2, a 3, and a 6. To move 20 spots. No, I'm not doing that. No. I'm not doing that. Not moving 20 spots. Seattle wants me to move 12 spots for a 4th. No, I'm not doing that either. That's too far. 11 and a 5th. No, I'm sticking at 43. I want to stick at 43. I want to see what talent's on the board, and I'm going to pick somebody here. So went Kyle Pitts at 11. What edge rushers do we have here? Okay, we got Boogie Basham.
Yeah.
We got Hamilcar Rashid. We got Jordan Smith, Quincy Roche. What corners? What about corner?
Well, you don't think DeAndre Baker is going to make a comeback with them?
I'm not so sure about that. Ooh, Aaron Robinson's been having an awesome week at the Senior Bowl. Could do a little Senior Bowl shout out and get him. Play opposite James Bradbury. You got Darnay Holmes in the slot. You got rotating safeties on the back end. Could have a little rotating cornerback work as well. Pretty versatile secondary. What about linebacker? Let's check out linebacker. I like Aaron Robinson, but Chester Rapper and Brandon Jabril Cox. No, give me Aaron Robinson. I'm going corner here.
You're on it.
Yeah. I'm going Aaron Robinson here. I didn't want to look. I'm just doing the due diligence. I got to see who's on the board. You know what I'm saying? So
you have better patience than me. Like you're more. I see a name that I love, and I'm like, dude, I don't care who else is left. Like, let's go. And like, it's just, I'd be a phenomenal GM. Obviously, I don't even check like who else is on the board.
All right, so we got Chicago on the clock right now. They want you to give up a 3rd and a 5th to move back up into the 2nd and get on the clock right now. What do you think?
How many spots we look at? Oh, okay.
So it's 14 spots. You're jumping 14 spots for a 5th.
I don't hate it because I know I actually have your 5th rounder, the
Yeah.
Giants, from
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Leonard Williams trade.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Oh man. Yeah, can we hide this again and look at the board?
Okay. All right. So 52. So it's a 5th and a 6th. Okay. 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 So yeah, you can look at the board now. Who's on a 52? Eichenberg's still there, and Wuzurike is still there. J2 Fele is still there.
I know the Jets just have Eskridge is there.
Ooh, another Senior Bowl stud.
Yeah, and I like St. Brown as well.
Oh yeah, St. Brownby is still there. Okay, I didn't even see him.
The problem is
nice.
they got a jump ball guy in Mims where I think they need a little bit more speed. I don't know if I'd move up for Eskridge though. You know what? I'm gonna pass on the trade.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we can just resume it then. We can start with Chicago there. Who'd they end up picking? Oh, they went with Atwell, so they went with speed anyways. That's
There
what
you
they were
go.
trying to go for. So you're up now at 66. Got a couple of different moves. Denver Broncos want you to move back, pick up an extra 7th.
Yeah. Jets don't have a 7th, but still don't need one.
Okay, don't need one. Rams, of course, Les Snead wants to move around in the draft.
Classic. They love taking 3 players.
Wait, they're giving up 3 of their pick. Do they have anything after this?
I think they literally want a 1-player class. The historic 1-player class.
Les Snead has a tee time Saturday morning at 8:10, and he ain't missing it for no 3rd round of the NFL draft.
They don't want to do rookie OTAs. They're like, we're not doing this. We're not signing undrafted guys. I'm passing on that.
Okay, he's saying no. He's saving Les Snead from himself there a little bit. All right, so 66. You picked Zach Wilson. You picked Azeez Ojulari. Those are the 2 guys that you've selected. And you got Vera Tucker. I forgot.
Let's look at the wide receivers.
Okay. All right.
We're gonna have to add to this group. I think they'll get one free agency. I like Moore, but he's a slot guy. You got Crowder there. Oh man, this group got picked apart pretty quick, huh?
They do. This is like the second wave. Sage Surratt, Seth Williams, Daz Newsome, Amari Rogers. This is always like that second wave of wide receivers.
Oh man, let's see. God, the Jets need a lot of things. How are we looking? I mean, corner's probably pretty ripped up right now.
Who they got at corner? Oh, Melifonu's still there. That's interesting.
And he is such a good fit in this defense. His click and close I've seen in zone. I don't see how I don't take him there. I'm gonna take Melifonwu. It's Jets fans are gonna kill me for not having a wide receiver yet, but I'm just trying to build a good team right now.
Listen, you said that you were a bad GM like 5 minutes ago. I disagree. You're going with the talent on the board.
The talent, man. Sign Allen Robinson, and we don't have to worry about this.
There you go. You got all the cap in the world.
Yeah. Spend the money.
Starting outside corner, that's Joe Marino. He was giving us a little scouting report there on Melifonwu. No, wait. Before we no, I'm saying no to this. I have a question I have to ask, so I'm saying no to this. Who do you have your eyes on with free agency? Just like real quick, like who are some of the names as I'm looking at this board here?
I mean, they probably got to come away with a guard. I know, Tooney would be the obvious one. I don't know what's going to happen with Scherf. And I think the reason I say those 2 is I think they spent big at guard. I really do. I don't think they'll spend as big at wide receiver as we would assume, even though they need help there. Like I would be surprised if they went out and gave Godwin or Robinson this mega wide receiver deal. It's not really like a Joe Douglas kind of move. Honestly, I do think he'll draft one. They got to get an edge rusher. Because even if you think you could draft one, you need 2. They have a lot of holes, man. They need a corner. They have a lot of holes. You got to bring back Marcus May. He's going to cost you probably $10 million a year.
I was trying to think of the edge rushers too. Like Bud Dupree's there, like to be a free agent. Matthew Judon is there. Yannick Ngakoue is there. Shaq Barrett, although I really don't think I don't think Shaq or Chris Godwin leaves the Bucs. I know a lot of people are hoping they do.
I don't think so either. I think Judon, he's a little bit of an older free agent. I think he'll be 29 in free agency.
Yeah.
But Douglas will have all the everything checked on with Baltimore, all his Baltimore connections.
Yeah,
and if they give him everything he needs to hear, he'll be a name I would assume they check in on.
Yannick's the youngest one. I think he's 26, and everybody else is kind of like later 20s. Anyways, all right, so I'm up at 75 here for the New York Giants. I went with Kyle Pitts at number 11. I went with Aaron Robinson, the corner in the second round. I would love to pick Jabril Cox here because I think that the New York Giants need a linebacker. However, if I get through the first 3 rounds without an edge rusher, Giants fans are never going to let me mock for their team ever again. So please show me edge. I cannot go anywhere else. I have pigeonholed myself. Hamilcar Rashed is there. Quincy Roche.
Wow.
I like Patrick Jones, but I'm not going to pick him in the third round because I think it could cheat the system and get him in the fourth round. But
you know how this breaks pretty well.
Oh now. God, I've done so many mocks.
You got like your sixth rounder that like you just love and you just take him every time.
Tamorian Terry, baby. Florida State wide receiver.
You better be careful. I like him a lot.
I do too.
He's gonna fall a little bit.
I'm gonna go. Let's go Quincy Roche here. I think that this is something that they're really gonna target. It's they have to address edge at some point within the first 3 rounds. Honestly, could very well be at 11. That's a huge target for them. Maybe trading down, picking up a couple of extra picks because they don't have a ton to choose from this draft. But either way, I had to go get an edge rusher, and Quincy Roche, very experienced, had a lot of great things said about him when he was coming from Temple over to Miami. He's had a lot of success. So I think that, yeah, he'd be a good fit there as a 3rd round pick for him. So yeah, the Colts are up at 84. They want you to give up, trade. What's the point of this trade?
It's a strange one, huh?
Chris Ballard's just had the itch.
He just wants to talk right now. It's gonna be a no.
maybe I don't know. Maybe he's lonely. 4th round pick, 5th round pick for the Falcons.
No,
take your 3rd. He's saying no to that.
So this should be Seattle's 3rd right now that people are apparently in love with, judging by all these trade offers. I'm going to stay here because if I don't grab a wide receiver soon, no one's going to ever let me back on this show or any kind of content ever again. So let's see what we got here. Well, okay, so this worked out.
Right. Yes.
I like Seth Williams too. And I like Sage Surratt, but I'm probably going to have to take Tylan Wallace. Yeah, can you scroll a little bit? I'm actually curious to see if we got anyone that's going to be a big riser. All right. I mean, there's a lot of good names here. I'm gonna go with Tylan Wallace.
Hell yeah, baby!
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, that's a nice pick in the top 100 here on the fringe top 100. Yeah, he's just a rock solid player. Tons of experience in college where he can come out and. I mean, they'll probably have to get someone in free agency, Curtis Samuel, whoever it may be, but it's good when you have Crowder, Mims, and Tylan that can give you legitimate possession reps.
Yeah. And like we talked about before, I think that there really is a chance that the Jets make a big splash at wide receiver. Maybe. You were talking
there might be a trade market there, though, that we didn't know about.
True.
Joe Douglas loves his trades. So, yeah.
Brown's got a couple of picks right here, not back-to-back, but 2 out of the next 3. So
I might take this. Is Amari Rodgers still on the board?
I think that he would be. Yes, he is still on the board.
I'm going to take this.
Okay.
Trade. All right. Now, let me look.
Seth is there too, though.
I know. This is pretty tough. I even like Elijah Moore. I don't care that you already have Crowder. Crowder's a free agent after the year. I'm going to take Elijah Moore here.
There it is.
I'm going to double up at wide receiver.
Wow. He asked if Amari Rodgers was on the board and didn't even take him. That is just.
I fooled everyone.
Ooh, I might like this here. Giving up a 4th and a 6th. I think, I might only have 1 pick after this. I might not even have any. I'm not sure exactly how many the Giants have. Do they have a 7th round pick? I'm not sure. But I'm taking this, actually. Give me this trade because I want to see. Give me an edge rusher. Who is there at edge? Okay. Yeah, Patrick Jones I'm probably going to pick because that's my dude. Scroll down a little bit. Deion Hayes, Rashard Weaver, Shaka Toney, Pat Jones. No. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Patrick Jones here. Give me some speed. So now I got Patrick Jones. Now I got Quincy Roche. I'm happy with that at least. I double dipped on edge where I needed to, and that at least made up for my sins of not picking one of the edge rushers in the 1st and the 2nd round. So I made up for that one.
Listen, the board is broken nicely for us on day 2.
It really has. Look, all we're saying is, if any GMs out there need any extra consulting,
that's it. You don't have to give us titles.
No,
or anything like that.
Look, all you got to do, $10,000. We'll talk for an hour. That's all you need. That's it. The DMs are open. I'm just saying their offer is always there. Connor, myself, or you can get both of us at the same.
Package deal.
Right.
Still we'll just run these mock drafts with them, and they can just sit in on this and just watch how it goes a million times.
Meanwhile, look, I'm not going to tell them that all they have to do is sign up for a TD and
No.
No, I'm not going to do that.
I mean, Dave Gettleman would fall for that, just to let you know.
Look, I'm in charge of the Giants now, okay? All right? No more Giants picky slander. So you're up here at 145 in the 5th round.
Let's look at the running backs, see how we're doing.
All right.
Because they're going to have to sign a guy. They only have P. Ryan coming back. Oh, wow.
Kylan Hill, Puka Williams,
this is,
Jared Patterson.
I'm really excited with this. Kylan's sitting there.
Jared Patterson, the 400.
Let's scroll a little bit. I'm going to go with Kylan Hill.
Nice.
Yeah.
High potential there. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I like that. That's a lot of potential there in a late round running back. Like Kylan Hill is really showing some flashes. Rush for, I think, 35. No, I almost said 3,500 yards in 1 year. That'd be insane. 1,300 yards the year before not playing in a lot of games this year. But I know a lot of people who love Kylan Hill. So I think it's a great pick in the 5th round. You're up again, though, 154. This is still the 5th round. What are we looking at here?
Man, if I didn't already take 2 wide receivers, I would take Shi Smith. He's had such a nice week, but we don't need to go that route. Might double up at edge and take Shaka. I really think, he's a weird player, right? You look at him and he just has great bend, great burst. But when he has to work inside, we saw what Robert Jones did on that one rep, but that's just one rep. But yeah, he's someone that situational edge rusher year 1. I think I'm going to go with Shaka Toney here and double up on edge.
He, like you said, I think that there is a very specific kind of role as a pass rusher that he is right now.
Yeah.
And what we went over earlier in this mock draft where it was like, hey, if you attack the outside shoulder with speed really well, which I think Shaka Toney can do that. I think he can attack outside really well, but it's really mastering an inside move and not just being one-dimensional that really takes you to another level. And I just don't think he's there yet. So
he's not there yet. Exactly. And maybe that's a redshirt pick, right? You got Solid there and Solid will coach him up, and you got Ojulari and you're going to sign a guy. You go, and, I think that might be a redshirt pick and one that I'll gladly take in that spot.
So I got the Giants up in the 6th round, 192. Can I see wide receiver? Let me see wide receiver here. Cornell Powell's the guy on the top of the board. Cade Johnson. Okay. I do like that. Nice. Cade was having a good Senior Bowl week. Go down a little bit. Scroll down a little bit. Oh, there's my boy. There's my 6th round boy right there. Tamorian Terry.
Already done.
Let me see linebacker. Let me see if there's any linebackers that are really probably not, but Garrett Wallow is there. Patty Fisher, Tough Borland. Now, none of these guys solve the linebacker issue for the Giants. They really
being able to run.
I really wanted Jabril Cox, but I couldn't do it in this mock because I really do think that Jabril Cox is a day 2 target for them is pretty perfect. So we'll go wide receiver. I'm gonna go Cade Johnson. Let me go Cade. I have not picked him actually yet in a single mock draft simulation, so let's do it here. Let's pick Cade Johnson, get a wide receiver on there. I know that it says that that's the first time I picked a wide receiver, but remember I got Kyle Pitts at number 11, so he's just an offensive weapon. So don't get on me too hard, Giants fans.
Is that a wrap? I know I traded 2 picks.
That might be a wrap.
And I know the Jets don't have any 7ths, and I know the Giants have traded a couple of their day 3 picks.
I don't think the Giants pick again. We're like 4 picks away from seeing. It's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
There it is.
I'm very content. I just want to make that.
All right, we're gonna go over who we had here. Let me see the user picks. Rob, appreciate it. Okay, so you, as leader of the New York Jets, did take a quarterback at number 2. You went with Zach Wilson, but then you got Elijah Vera Tucker and Azeez Ojulari after that. So you went back-to-back trenches. Melifonwu to get the cornerback room elevated. Tylan Wallace, Elijah Moore. Well, back-to-back wide receiver action there. Kylan Hill, Shaka Toney. I like those specialty players that you got on day 3. Those are nice. So you're happy with your haul then?
Oh, absolutely. I think, listen, you're not going to solve every need. You're not going to get day 1 starters at every spot. But I think this is a good one where, you're going in the Zach Wilson era. He would be starting in this scenario. Vera Tucker is pro ready. He could step on NFL field day 1 and be a productive starter. Mm-hmm. Probably at guard for the Jets in this scenario. And then Ojulari going to start. So, to walk out of the draft with 3 starters and then a couple of, contributors. I think when you look at Melifonwu and Tylan Wallace, they'll probably log 40 to 60% snaps or something along those lines. So that's exciting.
See, and then you also, of course, we got to factor in any kind of free agency movement that
Right.
the New York Jets do. And then what you mentioned earlier, which is if you're picking Zach Wilson, you're going to get something back for Sam Darnold. You're trading him for something. You know, you're hoping you're getting some sort of a day 2 pick for him, which I think that they could do. I think they could still sell Sam Darnold for a day 2 pick. So I think that this was a really well-rounded Jets haul. That was very nice for the Giants. I went a little outside the box. The board didn't fall to me well at 11, so I went with Kyle Pitts.
Needs across the board.
I did. I went with the offensive weapon with Kyle Pitts. I got Aaron Robinson in the corner to play opposite James Bradbury. Went back-to-back edge rushers, Quincy Roche and Patrick Jones, and then rounded it out with Kay Johnson to just get another wide receiver in there because I do think that's important to him. Connor, that was awesome, man.
Yeah, dude.
That was a blast. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad that the New York Giants fans were the ones to flood the replies so we could do a little bit of an all New York little mock draft here. So, hey, before I get you out of here, make sure you tell all the people where they can find all your work, because I know that you're at a couple of different spots and you do awesome stuff no matter where it is.
Yeah, thanks, man. Well, obviously start with Bleacher Report. We'll do all 3 days of the draft live this year. We always do that. But me and Adam Lefko are going to do a lead-up show this year. So once a week, 8 weeks leading up to the draft, we'll do a ton of stuff like this, right? Just NFL draft content, previews, guests, all of that fun stuff. And then if you just like my Jets nonsense, like my mock draft, the Badlands Pod is where you can find all of that. So thanks for having me, dude. This is a blast. We got to we'll run it back again. We
are absolutely going to have to run it back. And I was just about to say, we got more than one. I'll just say it was more than one question about what hair products the two of us use. And I'm just going to say that if you want to know the answer to it, you got to tune in the next time we're on, because that'll give the people the incentive to come back for another episode. Really appreciate you guys watching, and we will be back on Sunday with another episode of the Draft Network's live mock draft series.